I want to introduce to you Deana and Christopher. So meet Deana Brown Mitchell and Christopher D. Armani, two powerhouse mentors who don't just talk about transformation, they live it. Inside the special Virtual Summer Tears Peer Group Masterclass, they're pulling back the curtain on what it really looks like to build a business that doesn't cost your health, your joy, or your soul. Deana
Mm.
is a serial entrepreneur who rebuilds her ah English who rebuild her life after losing a multi-million-dollar business, now teaching founders how to lead like a wolf and create success that actually feels good. Christopher is a system strategist and publishing mentor who went from 15 years of creating creative procrastination to empowering others with practical, purpose driven momentum. Together, they have co founded Wolfpack Mentors, where a small group of accountability, uh, deep support, and intentional growth are the norm, not the exception. So, this master class is just a peek behind the scenes. It's a real time example of the wisdom, vulnerability, and breakthrough energy that flows inside our Virtual Summateers peer group. And if you're ready to stop building alone, come see what's possible when you grow with a pack. Okay.
Woohoo! We sound awesome, Dina.
Actually, Deana is really amazing. So, Deana and Christopher, I'm going to give you guys the stage.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Awesome.
so much, Erica. You've been really awesome about really taking our content and understanding it and sharing it. So thank you so much. I apologize, my voice is not 100% this morning, but I want to know from maybe Tom and Joe if you'd put in the chat like what kind of business do you have? Because I want to talk to the people who are listening about, you know, where I was in 2018 and see if anyone else can relate to that moment. So in 2018, I owned an event company. We did high-end corporate events all over the state of Colorado. We had been in business for 8 years at that point, and we we were doing really well. Um, but I was not, I wouldn't say I wasn't happy. I was very excited about what I had built and I enjoyed what I was doing. But I felt like I always had to be the first one in the office, the last one to leave, telling my husband and family no all the time, telling, not putting myself first ever. And what I learned through that was I had to have surgery, and so I was in bed with myself for a few weeks with my own thoughts, and I was really regretful about the fact that I hadn't seen my parents on Christmas in 20 years because I worked in ski resorts, and that's the busiest time of the year. I hadn't been very good friends to my friends. Like they would invite me to different things, and I would always say no because I was always working and I'm too busy. And so during that time, it gave me a lot of time to think. And when I came back to the office, I said, we're going to make some changes. I had 5 employees at the time and about 30 contractors. And I had employees that were awesome. They were motivated, they were self-starters, they were very good at their jobs, but they wanted more responsibility too. And so I started talking to them about what they would like more responsibility around, and we kind of customized what everybody was going to take on and what was going to be off of my plate. And I really started focusing more on travel and sales and being in front of clients. And that was what I enjoyed doing. I liked going and talking to people about what we could do in Colorado because we can go ice climbing and we can, do all these cool things. And so I was really scared that making those changes might be detrimental because I was used to being at every event. I was used to being, involved in everything. But I was the bottleneck. And when I made those changes, our revenue doubled. And I think it was a huge lesson for me because I had grown up in a family where both my parents owned businesses. I thought the harder you worked, the better things were. 18 hours a day was normal, all those things. And what I learned was working smarter was better. And I wrote a book called The Shower Genius about this framework of how I went from where I was to, you know, getting more success and more me time is what I call it. And it was a journey, but it was eye-opening. And in that process, I also learned that, the more we give our brain a break, the more we have um, creative ideas, more productivity, all of those things. I mean, I know this isn't rocket science, but I also know that when I was in that place, I didn't know how to fix it. And I think there are other people that are in that place that might need a little help or information or nudge to make changes for themselves and get to a better place. So now, by the way, I lost that whole business to COVID. And so since then, I've started a nonprofit and a couple other businesses, one that we're talking about today with Christopher. And so I think it's really important that we learn how to put ourselves first and we learn how to, um, yes, we still need to take care of everybody else in our life and all the things we do, but we have to set boundaries in a way that we can have time for ourselves because it will help make you more successful in the long run. And so, Christopher, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that we're in our North American society, we're really told a lie from the time we're born to the time we wake up and figure out that's really not true. And that lie is that the harder you work, the better you're going to get ahead, the easier it'll be to make the next level of whatever it is that you're doing. When the reality is our brains are designed to work focused on one thing for about 2 hours max. And then the brain starts to wind down. It starts to not be able to make good decisions. And there's all kinds of studies around this. There was a really amazing one out of Israel. This is probably 20 years ago now, where they took a look at the criminal justice system and looked at the sentencing from the time morning till noon, and then from 1 o'clock until the end of the day. And what they discovered is that in the first 2 hours of the morning and the first 2 hours of the afternoon, judges were making pretty decent decisions about sentencing and so on and so forth. But the further they got away from a rest break, the further they got away from food, the worse their decisions got. Or, well, I shouldn't say the worse, the more conservative their decisions became because they were afraid of making a mistake. So, two guys charged with the same crime, one sentenced at 9 a.m., one sentenced at 11:30. The guy at 9 a.m. would get a pretty reasonable sentence. The guy at 11:30 will get a much harsher sentence because the judge he'd reached that point of decision fatigue. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make is decision fatigue is a real thing. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not giving ourselves regular breaks, allowing ourselves that brain downtime to be able to figure out what the next right step is, we're going to make poorer decisions. Not necessarily bad ones, but not as good as they could be. And I think that's really the point that Dean is trying to make is the more that we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of not only ourselves, but everybody else around us and our business. So that's what I think, Deana.
Yes, that's an interesting story. I haven't heard that one before. So I think no matter what kind of business, thank you guys for putting your businesses in there. And I've met both of you in the past on these calls, I think. So thank you for playing along. But I think no matter what kind of business we're in, whether it's online, whether it's in brick and mortar, whether it's, you know, digital stuff or in person, I think it's really important that we connect with other people, that we're not just like I'm on Zoom all day every day these days, but I'm still connecting with real people and having real conversations. And I think that's so important for our brains and for our mental health. And for those of you who don't know, I also have a nonprofit for suicide prevention. So mental health is a huge thing for me.
Huge, yeah.
Um, and so I think it's really important. But that human connection and conversations and personal story and community help us be better, help us have more creative ideas and that we can take back to our business or our personal life and implement things that make us better. Um, so about almost 3 years ago now, Christopher and I kept meeting in Zoom rooms and getting put in breakouts together. And so we started saying we should probably have a conversation. And so we talked and realized that we had a lot in common. We had a lot of the same values, a lot of the same drive to help other people. And we started Wolfpack Mentors. And it's it's been really cool. We're both Wolf fans, if you can't tell. And I had Huskies for a lot of years, but just the mentality of the wolf and the the way wolf packs work together, in the wild is fascinating to me, I think to both of us, and how we could create something where we could do that for people in a way that would help us help each other. And so when I had that event company, I used to work with a lot of different business owners that I would hire for different things at our events. And I got to be friends with a lot of them. And so it was this circle of trust kind of thing with these other business owners I worked with all the time, that we would call each other and ask for help. We would collaborate on things. And so it really was my circle of support. And then when I lost that and started doing things online, it was very different. And so when Christopher and I started talking about Wolfpack, it was in that context in my mind about how do we make this community where business owners have a place to go, because you can't always talk to your employees or your spouse or certain people in your life about what you're dealing with at work because they don't understand. So this is how Wolfpack was born. It was a thing where we were frustrated with some tech stuff. We were frustrated because we were trying to do it all on our own, without the support. And so, Christopher, do you want to talk a little more about what we started?
Well, yeah, I'd like to just touch on the fact that in that point from when we met on all those, there's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 of them in a row almost, virtual events where we just kept meeting, to the in-between time before Wolfpack Mentors was officially sort of started, what Deana and I were doing, because entrepreneurs have this universal problem, and that is that I'm doing it all by myself. I don't have enough time. I feel like I'm not making any progress. I feel like a failure because of whatever the reasons are. And what Dean and I were doing on a regular basis, very informally, was having a mini mastermind. We would get together, I don't know, I want to say sort of roughly weekly, but it was very, very impromptu. It'd be like one of us would reach out and go, "Hey, do you have some time? I got this problem I need to discuss." And so we would do that. And then it was on one of those calls that Deana said, "Hey, I got a really brilliant idea. This is really working well for us. Why don't we start a mastermind group?" And I'm like, duh. Yeah. At that point, it just seemed so obvious because we were solving that loneliness problem for ourselves, just the two of us meeting. We were solving well, I don't know what to do next, or here's a problem, I don't know how to solve it alone. We were already solving that for each other, which was a really beautiful thing. And that's really the foundation of everything that we're building now, is to help solve those problems for other entrepreneurs. Because I don't care whether you're like a solopreneur or you're running a business with 50 people, you likely still feel completely alone, that you have to figure it all out by yourself, and you don't know, there's no one you can turn to for help. And that's literally the problem that the Wolf Pack solves.
Yeah, that's true. And so what we do now, and what we started then, we had for 2 years we had beta groups because we wanted to prove what we were doing worked. And we had two groups that were one was 4 people, one was 5 people, and we met weekly. And every week, one of the members got to ask for help of whatever they were working on. And the other 3 or 4 people were all focused on their problem and how to help them. And the amount of growth that came out of those groups was
Massive.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and then we started when we officially started Wolfpack Mentors, that weekly meeting for everyone is the key of the mastermind. So we say, like, when you join, you cannot miss that meeting because then you're letting the other 3 people down. So Christopher or I, one of us, run those meetings every for each group. Maybe one day we'll get too big and we won't be able to do that, but that's what we do now. Um, but it's the cornerstone of everything. And then obviously we have a ton of videos and library stuff that people can get find what they need on marketing or whatever it is. And then we have guest speakers sometimes, depending on what people need and if it's our expertise or not. Um, and then we also have a Go High Level platform. So if you're in the mastermind, you get a free account in there, and then people can also just pay monthly for it. And we do have office hours, so we help people with the tech so they understand what to do. We've gotten on calls one-on-one to help people build a website because they have no idea how to do it. Like we just help people with what they need. And it's not, I've been part of several masterminds and it's always one way. It's always they're talking at you. Yes, they teach you stuff. It's a great community. You can connect with people, but there's never one-on-one help. And so I think that's what's very different. If somebody messages us and says, Deana, I really need help with this one thing, and Christopher and I will jump on a Zoom call with them and help them fix it. It's not like, yeah, go look at this video or whatever. I mean, not that the videos aren't helpful, but it's sometimes people need personal attention, and that's something we're real passionate about.
I had a thought that I wanted to add to that. It's apparently the hamster wheel died or something, but I'm going to see if I can pull it back. The accountability packs, that's what we call these small four-person groups that Deana or I will I'm not going to say lead, but sort of, I guess,
Facilitate.
facilitate. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Those really are the where the power of all of this comes in because like Deana was saying, every week, one person of that four gets to bring a problem to the group, try and explain it so that we understand, and then get help for it. And a problem well explained is already half solved is a great quote from I forget who that was. But when in the process of explaining what the problem is, you're already half figuring it out. And in order, when people are asking clarifying questions because they don't understand what the problem is, it forces you to gain more clarity. And that's, for me, that's just the really beauty of this whole thing. Oh, the thought came back. Yay. The thing I wanted to touch on is that one of the major reasons Deana and I founded the White Label Go High Level agency is because we both had massive tech problems and we were just so sick of them not being able to be solved simply and easily. Like I was a WordPress guy. I had been building WordPress websites for probably 15 years. I know WordPress inside and out, and yet I'm on a call with Deana showing her like this really awesome new funnel that I built in WordPress. And here's what happens when you click the buy button, and nothing happened. And I like my stomach dropped through the floor, and I'm like, what is going on? Because this is live. And I'm wondering why I'm not getting people signing up. Well, now I know why people aren't signing up. The button doesn't work. So we were introduced to Go High Level. I was able to actually take that entire funnel, convert it into a Go High Level funnel in 60, 70 minutes, have it back up and running and live and functional because I couldn't figure out why the WordPress thing wasn't working. Deana had a similar experience with another platform where she got everything up and running, figured it all out, tried, got all these things cobbled together, the Frankenstein monster, we like to call it. Uh, and again, it wasn't working right. And why not? These things are supposed to work together, but they don't. And so that's for me is why I'm just such a massive fan of the Go High Level platform and why we started that agency is because it has all the tools that you need. But here's the kicker: they actually work together. Not like taking WordPress and trying to connect it to Mailchimp and trying to figure out like what the CRM is going to be and where's the survey tool and like trying to cobble all these things together and pray that they actually hold up for the time that you're trying to launch something. They just work and go high level. So for me, that's just the biggest reason why this thing is so important. And which is why when people decide to join us in the mastermind, the Alpha Ascent Circle is the name of the mastermind. When people join us, that's one of the perks that they get is a free Go High Level account because we know this is the right solution. We have confidence in the solution, and we also know that we can figure out what's going on if someone can't figure it out. There's all kinds of help and support. It's a really great tool to solve that biggest problem that most of us have is that tech, especially if we're just starting a business and we're a solopreneur or whatever, trying to figure out, well, how do I make these seven tools work together? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And having been there, done that, and like as I like to say, been there, done that, burned the t-shirt, um, we know why it's so important. And as Erica just said, tech is not a duct tape. It's so true, right? It shouldn't have to be something that we have to cobble together and just, cross our fingers, pray to God that it actually functions when it needs to. Uh,
Mm.
and one of the things that I've noticed about the Go High Level team, because we've had the agency running for almost a year now. What I've noticed from that team is they are always striving to make things better. And I love that. And it's just a beautiful thing. Maybe I'll stop
Yeah.
talking there.
Well, the platform I had detrimental situation with was Active Campaign, and I thought I had built it all the way I was supposed to. I did all the research, and I was running a challenge the next morning. This was probably 3 years ago, and it something wasn't working. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so I had just been in Pedro's workshop about marketing. And so there was somebody that I connected with there that was an IT guy that actually said to me, if you need help, let me know. And I reached out to him and it was probably 10 o'clock at night. And he got on Zoom with me and tried to help me. But like Christopher said, it's like you're still paying for multiple things. You're spending all this money. You're paying for Zapier every time it does anything. And it's like what is the point? And so when I saw Go High Level, I was like, okay, I have a lot to learn, but I was so excited about the fact that I knew other people that were using it and it was working for them and they keep adding new things. You can even make QR codes in there now. Like there's just all kinds of things they keep adding that you can
Yeah.
quit paying for elsewhere, which is nice. Um, but
One thing I just want to add to that, Dean, is that everyone talks about the money they're spending on all these different things. Nobody talks about the time they're having to spend trying to sort it all out. And to me, that's the bigger penalty because that's our most precious resource, our time. And if I'm spending, like what I found I was doing was spending probably two-thirds of my day troubleshooting WordPress and connectivity crap with other things, as opposed to actually talking to people, helping people, which is the whole point of all this. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's true. I just want to tell one story real quick, and then we can we can open it up for questions or whatever you want to do, Erica. But there's a lady in our mastermind who I worked with her 20 years ago in Georgia at a hotel. And we lost touch for a lot of years. And somehow we reconnected, probably through Facebook or something. And she was telling me how she started making these natural salves for different things. And she was making them in her kitchen. packaging them. She was selling them to some local stores. She lives in Arkansas now. And so there's some local stores that were selling her products, and she sent us some of them. I mean, there's stuff for she sent me one that's for like sciatica nerve pain that my husband uses, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't ever live without this again." So like she's making stuff that's really helping people, but she didn't know she knew how to make it and how to do what she's doing, but she's like, I don't know how to make this grow. I don't know how to make this bigger, and make it a better business. And so now she's been working with us for a year now. Now she has new containers, new labels, new branding. She has all of them she has cost sheets for everything. She's in the middle of her FDA approval. We're helping her build her website. It's like a whole level that and she's our biggest fan. She will like talk about us everywhere. But she is doing so amazing with what she started in her kitchen by herself because she's had a community around her that's helped give her advice and give her, the confidence to make it bigger. And it's really cool.
Before we run into Q&A stuff, there's just one thing I want to add. And Eric, I just want to thank you for your awesome list that you sent us, some stuff that you'd pulled from I don't even know where, but it's really great. And that's the three-step action decision loop. And this is something I talk about all my primary thing. Before Deana and I met, my primary thing was working with writers, nonfiction writers specifically, to help them write and publish their books. And I still do that, but I also do that also in conjunction with Wolfpack. And one of the things that I've said to people forever is what I call my three-step system for success. Number one, make a proper decision. Number two, implement that decision with immediate and effective action. Number three, repeat. And what someone pointed out to me recently, which I always sort of knew in my gut but hadn't verbalized, is that the problem with that three-step system is between points one and points two. You make the decision, and then before you can take the action, you've got your infernal editor running around in there screaming at you, telling you all kinds of nonsense, the lies that you've internalized from other people, all that stuff tries to jump in and stop you. So it's solving that mental problem between the making the decision and the effective action. That's a really big part of what Deana and I focus on in Wolfpack, because the mind controls everything. So if we're not able to control our thoughts, we're not able to control our actions. It goes back to Napoleon Hill's quote that Deana and I always lean on, is that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, we can achieve. Um, but it means clearing out all that negative crap that either we told ourselves or we took on from someone else and made our own, which, I mean, it's all lies, it's all nonsense. But the more we can clear that stuff out, clear away those false beliefs and get back to like, oh, well, this is who I really am and this is what I really want to do. It can be really easy if I get out of my own way. And that's the mindset stuff that we focus on so heavily, because whether you're writing a book or building a business, the process is the same. Make a decision, follow it with immediate effective action, repeat.
Yeah,
There you
that's true.
go. Yeah.
So I'm curious, this is just for my own research. Would each of you guys tell me in the chat where your most creative ideas show up?
Love this.
I mean, everybody knows for me it's the shower, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
you
answer,
go.
Joe.
When making soap, that's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, LinkedIn. Those are great answers. Thank you.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there is a study by Very Well Mind from 8 countries that say 72% of people have the most creative ideas in the shower. But I think it's just in a place where you're quiet, your mind is quiet, like you've been making soap, or you're being stimulated by DMs and LinkedIn to have some sort of idea. That's brilliant. Thank you. And so, yeah,
That's why I
driving
can't
comes
go to the
up a
computer.
lot. I
Yeah,
would say driving is number two of all the people I talk to. And I used to drive around Colorado, like in my Jeep. That was my happy place. And I can definitely relate to that as well. So, Christopher, do you want to tell everybody about the quiz?
sure, Dina. I'll tell about people about the quiz. Uh, if you go to wolfpackmentors.com/quiz, we've got a little tool there that helps you figure out what is your biggest problem, and what is the possible tool that's going to help you solve that. It's short. Well, I shouldn't say it's short. I think that quiz is 10 questions long, but it all focuses on getting to the point of what is what is the problem that I'm facing? What do I believe about that problem? And what are some possible solutions to that? So if you're struggling with that sense of being alone, if you're struggling with the feeling like I just don't know what the answer is, I don't even know where to turn for help, I really encourage you to take that quiz and just see if at the end of that you don't have more clarity than when you started. Because my bet is that you will. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the quiz, is designed to help you gain more clarity about where you are, where you're at, and what your next possible best step might be. And that doesn't necessarily mean working with us. We're trying to find clarity for you, whether that's working with us or working with us. I honestly don't care. I wanted you to get the solution that you need to move forward. That's really the most important part. And for Deana and I both, I mean, this is entirely our whole motivation is service to others, and then that's what God put us here for. And we're told that all throughout the Bible. So we're just trying to fulfill that mandate of serving others in whatever the best way is for them. So wolfpackmentors.com/quiz. I believe Deana dropped that into the chat. Awesome. Thanks, Deana.
Yeah.
Check it out. I think you might be a little bit pleasantly surprised by some of the questions and some of the clarity that comes out the other end of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Erica, what's next?
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. So if you guys are finished, we're going to stop the live stream and tell everyone that it's not too late to join us live here on Zoom. But we're just going to talk to the people live here on Zoom with us now for a Q&A session with Deana and Christopher. So thanks for joining us. And if you want to meet more cool people like Deana and Christopher, you need to join the Virtual Summiters peer group or find them at wolfpack.com. Okay, so now I am going to stop the live stream. So see y'all later. Okay, the live stream has stopped, but we are still recording. So
You
if you
were
guys have
serious.
any
You
questions
guys
for
missed out. Too bad. Yeah. It's awesome.
if you guys have any questions for Deana or Christopher, please let them know.
Yeah.
Well, if if people are gonna take a minute, I do want to ask about your beta group. Why did you start with the beta group, and why did you have two beta groups?
Proof of concept. We wanted to make sure that we were actually offering solutions that people needed and worked. And why two groups? Because, well, one of them we were in, so we didn't want to be skewing the results by having like two members of the four being Deana and me. So we started another one with a very different set of people to see what would happen. Can we replicate these results that we were getting for ourselves and with the other people that were in that original group?
Mhm.
And what we discovered really, really quickly was, yes, we can. We can replicate those results. We can deliver those results. We can make sure that every single person is getting what they need when they show up. And we were told repeatedly, this is like, I'll blow off every other Zoom meeting I've got this week, but I will never miss this one because this is where all the magic happens. This is where I actually get what I need to move forward. So, I mean, when you have people saying that on a regular basis, you know you have something that works, which is why we wanted to make sure that we had that solid foundation before what I'll call launching to the world, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to add to that, Deana?
I just, I will always remember those groups like family because it was just, in some cases, they were people I knew. In some cases, they were people I didn't know. But at the end of it, like it was so hard to end those groups too. It
Yes.
was very hard to say, we're not going to do this anymore. Um, and that's the hard part. But it's it was just it was groups of very different people that probably would never have been friends or met in any other way. And
Yeah.
the perspectives from everybody was the reason it was so successful because people had different worldviews, um different businesses. And I think that the misconception is that if you need help on a business, you need to be in a similar bit, you need to be talking to someone in a similar business. And
That's just so wrong. Yeah.
we have totally proved that wrong
Yeah.
because people from opposite ends of the spectrum of business were helping each other and they could see things for each other that they couldn't see for themselves. And it was just because they were looking at it from like a customer point of view. And so it was, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it was like magic.
It really was.
It really was.
I want to talk about the structure of those accountability packs for a minute because I was having a conversation with Nicholas the other day,
Mm,
and I was asking him about, well, what was your experience? Because him and I've talked about. Nicholas is a friend of mine. He's a writer that I've co-written a couple of books for, sorry, with. Um, and him and I are able to have really open and honest conversations. It's a really wonderful relationship that I really enjoy. And his response to the structure. Let me describe the structure, then I'll describe his response and what happened after that. So the structure of these groups is it's 1 hour in length, and that's a solid start time and a solid end time. Like we don't go over. So at the top of the hour, everybody goes around the room and they get 2 minutes to discuss, well, what were the wins of the last week, and what did you learn over the last week, and maybe what is the problem that you discover that you're facing. And then whoever's on the success seat that week, that's what we call the hot seat, is the success seat because that's where you get to figure out what your next step for success is. That goes for about 42 minutes, I think it is. And that's where the person gets to present the problem to the best of their ability. The rest of us get to ask clarifying questions. And then once we're relatively clear about what the problem is, then we start working to brainstorming solutions for it. And then the last section of that hour is another 2 minutes going around the room. So based on what we discussed today, here's what I want to accomplish over the next week, and here's my stretch goal. Here's the thing. If I can get this first thing done, here's the second or the third thing I want to get done as well. And then the call ends. So it's a very strict structure. And Nicholas's response I found so amusing in this conversation the other day because he said, when I first joined you guys, I thought, this structure sucks. I hate it. I can do a way better thing than you guys can. And there was a third thing. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but he was very opposed to the structure. And I said, so what happened? And he said, well, what happened is I discovered that the structure was this container that allowed me to express myself in a way that guaranteed that I got what was on my chest off it, but got me the answers and the solutions that I needed. And I've just found his answer really, really interesting because there was that transformation. This structure sucks. I hate it. You guys basically suck because you've imposed this upon me. And it went to, how did you phrase it? Defending the structure. Like if someone was complaining about it, he became the staunchest defender of it. It was really cool to see, right?
yeah.
So
And he was the person that would say, "You're 1 minute over."
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking to him about something else, and we got on the conversation around like, well, what was your experience with Wolfpack? And so we had a really fun conversation around all that, and my takeaway from our conversation was this transformation that he went through around the structure and how it became his greatest ally as opposed to the thing he hated and thought he could do better.
Yeah,
So that was just really fun.
that is
What's
fun.
funny about that is that that's how this group got started. We all hated the structure.
Well,
So we
I
stopped
think
our other
naturally human
groups.
beings want to hate structure because, like, take it from a writing perspective. The reason I couldn't complete a first draft for 15 years is because I refused to impose structure upon myself. I want to wing it. I want to just write however I want to write, and it'll all work out, which is absolute crap, at least for people like me. There are people, I understand this, really famous authors who write that way. Good for them. I can't do it. Uh, but because I refused to impose that structure on myself, because I had a bunch of false beliefs around structure, specifically around writing, that I refused to do the things that actually worked. It was only when I stopped getting in my own way, opened up my closed trap of a mind and said, well, geez, 15 years of this isn't working. Maybe I should try something different. Guess what? I discovered that outlines are a really amazing thing, which is all structure is. Like that's the same thing for the group. I mean, it's there for a purpose. It's a container that inside of it, because you know where the boundaries are, and Deana talks about boundaries all the time, because we know where the boundaries are, we can play full out with inside those boundaries, knowing that nothing from outside that can get at us. So we literally have that, and I hate the term, but we have this safe space where we can do whatever we need to do and say whatever we need to say in order to help others understand and help us.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other thing is we do record those, and only the people in that group have access to those recordings. So like if we're talking about your business that day, you can go back and watch it again too. So you can be fully present during the conversation and go back and take notes. So that's important to know as well.
Yeah, that's
So
just
I
a
have
huge
to
benefit.
ask you, what mountain is that behind you? Yeah.
That's Mount San Antonio, also called Mount Baldy. It's literally straight in front of me,
Oh,
where I'm
Well,
sitting.
it's a terrible view to have to suffer through every day.
Well, I can't see it because I all I can see is buildings in front of me. So we
Oh,
actually have that we have to go and in fact there's a hill where because we're so close we can't actually see it like this. So this view is taken at a little bit of an angle, but it's literally where I am is right in front of it like that.
wow, cool.
awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I
I'm
want
a
to
mountain person. Yeah.
I want to tell Joe that I got praised this morning for my layout structure of how I do my events. And it's because I've talked with Joe so many times, LinkedIn DM, shout out to everybody who talks to me in the LinkedIn DMs. But Joe has told me multiple times that I need to start from where I want to end and then work backwards from there. Joe, I don't think I have ever told you, but yes, I do that. I do that with a Google Doc. I I have my end goal to have people in the group, and then I have chat. I'm sorry, I have chat talk to the LinkedIn about section for Deana, and then I had it talk to Christopher's about section, but I don't think I found it. I don't think Christopher had an about section in LinkedIn, so I went to his webpage. I give all this information to chat, and I'm like, "Hey, chat, do this for me. Make an introduction, make a description." And I put all of this going up, up, up in a Google Doc because I want everything to end with my end goal. And I want everybody to know that I got that from talking with Joe and the LinkedIn DMs.
Oh,
That's
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I actually thought Deana had wrote the notes that she sent me in Telegram last night, and not realizing that you had done that. So, like, well done.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know that I would have remembered to put in the three-step solution for success, right? Even though I talk about it all the time, it often isn't just a thing that pops into my brain to share. So I was really grateful for that the bullet point, like, oh yeah, talk about that too.
So I put all of this information in the chat and I stayed with chat in that same thread. So our introductory interview also was in there. And I'm like, hey, chat, this entire conversation, I need a description for this upcoming talk so I can add to my Google Doc.
Yeah, I did that with the conversation with Nicholas to figure out, well, what are the main takeaways? And I mean, that's what I love about AI is that it just does, it can take a hour-long conversation and in like 5 seconds, give me the high points and the low points and done. It's like, I love that. I absolutely love that.
So, why did you guys decide on I'm sorry if I'm taking up all their time. If you guys want to ask questions, please do. But I wanted to ask them why did you decide on a mastermind instead of group coaching where you could have more people? I know you want to keep it to like 4 to 5 people. So why?
Well, I mean, we have, I mean, we don't have just 4 or 5 people. We have multiple groups of 4 or 5 people. Um, and it's four now. We don't do five. We're just the fifth facilitator, um, in each group. But yeah, I mean, we can have more and more people in the mastermind, but the groups are
The
everybody that's
accountability
in the
packs.
mastermind will be in a group of four for the weekly meeting.
It's actually a blend of mastermind and group coaching. So, and what I mean by that is that the accountability packs are four people with a facilitator. But then all the other stuff we do is literally more of a group coaching container. So if we're talking about, well, how do I do this one thing in GHL? Everybody's welcome to that call. If we've got a guest speaker coming in or we're doing a talk on something, everybody's welcome to those calls and ask questions and all that kind of stuff. So it really is a blend of small accountability pack masterminds alongside this group coaching container that everybody gets to participate in, and a community where everybody gets to, help each other inside and or well outside of the actual four-person packs. So if at 2 o'clock in the morning you wake up and you discover you've got this problem that's just not allowing you to sleep, well, you drop it in the community, and hopefully when you wake up in the morning, someone or many someones will have given you a couple of ideas to help move it forward. I mean, that's the beauty of the actual community portion of it as well. So it's not like it's just a one thing. It's probably three or four things all rolled into one. And I think that's the power of it because there's so
N-
many avenues for getting help.
Now I'm thinking, whoa, that's a lot of work. Are y'all doing multiple groups a day or something to meet with these multiple groups of four? Dang, that's a workout.
I
But we
think,
do it because it's effective. We've proven the model works. So
mhm,
why not, right?
yeah,
Because it's work.
and I think that
But I'm not
You
afraid of
must
work.
have way more energy than me.
Well, the thing is, like, I want to go back to this conversation that I had with Nicholas the other day. When he said, "Hey, like we've been trying to have this conversation for probably a month." And he said, "Hey, can we do this later today?" And I went, "Oh man, because I've already had a really long day." Yeah, okay. And I said to him at the end of the call, I was really tired when I got on this call, and I feel really energized right now because of the conversation that we've had. That's literally what goes on with these groups. Doesn't matter how I feel at the start. I'm always more energized at the end than at the beginning, no matter what my energy level is, because it's that interaction with people that is the jam, right? That's the power source of it all. So it I can be tired at the start of one of these groups, sure, but the conversation within 5 minutes, literally within the first 5 minutes, people going around the room and people talking about what how their last week went, my brain is already spinning with possibility, and I get excited about possibility. I love that.
yeah,
Okay.
it is it is pretty cool. And it's cool to go back and watch the like some of the first calls we had and remember like how it started and then see how it works now. It's pretty cool. But I also the one thing we didn't mention about what we focus on, on our group coaching stuff is really about business strategy, business mindset, and then, all the pieces of businesses, whether it's Christopher put a really good marketing course together. And then I mean, we each have our own courses too that people have access to. So there's a lot of content there. So it's I don't know. I just feel like it's so fun to see people have breakthroughs in their own business or personal life that gets them to the next level. And if we can facilitate that in some way, that's all we ask for.
I mean, that's the payoff. That's the fulfillment section of it all for us is that we get to see people have these amazing breakthroughs that like I go back to thinking about Carrie when on the day we were explaining to her, well, you need to raise your prices and here's why, and here's all the things you need to consider when making that price.
Hmm.
And it was things she'd never even thought of.
Yeah, she
Not
was.
not just her time, but a whole host of other things she'd not never really even considered. And it's like you could just watch the light bulb turn on and go really bright, and it was like she got it. And those are the moments that we live for, right? It's just so fun.
Yeah, she created this new face cream that she's selling like crazy. And she was like, well, why is makeup so expensive? And why is like I don't want to charge $50 for this. And so we're like, Carrie, you need to do a costing sheet. You need to put every single penny that you spend making this. You need to, and she had never done anything like that. So it was like Christopher said, it was really cool to see. Like, and then she called us like 2 days later and she's like, I just submitted my FDA approval. And she's like all
It
excited.
got her all excited. Yeah, it was awesome.
So yeah, it's just cool to be part of people's journey.
Nice.
Yeah, because like one of the big things she hadn't even considered was, well, marketing. Well,
Hmm.
you need to get the word out about this somehow.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Because you're either paying for it in time, or you're paying for it with money, or you're paying for it with both. That needs to be a part of the costing issue. Like you need to pay yourself to be doing this work, even if you're doing it all alone. And the thought had never occurred to her. Well, it's just my time. Like she had a very, I don't know what the word is. Like there was not a clear understanding that time is her most valuable resource, just like it is for all of us.
What if I
And
told you I didn't believe in time?
I would say good for you. You're happy to believe whatever you want. I'm going to go with what I know, right? Um, Seeing that light bulb go on is like, I actually need to value myself, is really what I boiled down to.
Yes.
Because we as human beings tend to not value ourselves, let alone our time. And the more we can figure out that I actually do have value, I can actually contribute to someone else, I can actually do this, and I'm really, really good at it, and own that,
Mhm.
so many cool things come out of that. And again, that's one of those light bulbs that we love just flipping on for people because it's just so much fun to see what happens after that.
And just to throw this out there, Carrie is a single mom of three boys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, they're all, I think the last one just graduated high school, so they're grown now, but she's been a single mom since they were pretty little. Yeah.
So time is at a premium in her life, totally, right?
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
also wanted to ask again, if you guys have questions, don't let me take over. But they already know I'm nosy. You guys praise high level, but you why don't you call it your own thing? Man, Joe, you could have asked that question out loud. All you had to do was unmute. Joe, go ahead and ask your question.
No, let's continue with yours first.
Well, I'm just being nosy. We
So
know
go
about Go
again.
High Level. There, we know that there's other people out there that don't know about Go High Level. Why are you calling it Go High Level instead of calling it, this is what you can do with a membership of the Wolf Pack or something like that?
Well, we do have a name for it. It's Wolfpack Mentors CRM.
Okay.
But if I have to explain what Wolfpack Mentors CRM is, it's a really long journey. Most people in the marketing world have at least a understanding that the Go High Level exists. So what that saves is this long-winded explanation that takes 3 days for here's what the platform can do for you. So yes, it's a white labeled version of Go High Level. We have our own enhancements to it, but it helps me shortcut that learning curve or I guess the explanation curve of what it is. Does that answer your question?
I guess so. I guess I am comparing it to me using Hey Summit and me assuming that everybody knows what Hey Summit looks like. And when you see this site, you're going to automatically know that it's Hey Summit. And I was told no by people who know and use the product. So so now I'm doing it to other people.
Well, yeah, and I'd never heard of Hey Summit until you talked about it the other day. And for us, like we've branded it with our own logos, we branded with our own colors, all those kinds of things. We've done all those sort of things so that we're not looking like everybody else. But it's the conversation around GHL or Go High Level that allows me to have people understand far faster the tool that I'm talking about instead of having to explain to them and pretending that it's not something that it is. Like I don't feel comfortable pretending that I built this amazing CRM tool and it does everything you'll ever wanted, and I'm just an awesome human being. Well, I'm just a guy who's taking the power and experience of someone else or another company and leveraging that.
Well, just
That's
because it's a SaaS doesn't mean you didn't build it. You had to put your own energy and efforts into it to make it
sure,
do what it do and look
absolutely.
how it looked.
But my contribution to the platform versus theirs is if I break 1%, I'd be truly shocked. Because I'm literally changing the paint color on the outside of the house as opposed to building the walls, right? Of
Yeah.
Sometimes paint sells.
course it does. And when we're marketing it, like the web page doesn't say go high level. The web page says, Wolfpack Mentors CRM. But when we're explaining it, it's just easier to get people to understand what we're talking about when we use the go high level brand name.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know what that is, it's really easy to go find out about it. And there's a million YouTube videos on it, and there's a million other things out there that help people understand. And then we bring our own expertise to it. There's areas, it's such an amazing platform that, I mean, there's areas I've not even touched yet, but they're there if someone needs them. Whereas the stuff that Deana and I are focusing on are the tools that work for us, the portions of the platform that we get the most results from. And that's true for probably most people. There's probably only three or four things that most people want out of the platform, even though it can do probably 10 or 12 things really, really well. So like I think I saw a note from you in the chat earlier. You're talking about how it took you like days or weeks or a month or whatever it was to create a survey using a couple of different tools. Uh,
It wouldn't
you
have took me that long if I would just do what they asked me to do, but I want to be special. So when they tell me no, it hurts my feelings. So I move on to something else. And if they tell me no, I got to move on to something else.
So you guys,
Funny.
time is almost up, and Joe hasn't asked this question.
Go, Joe.
Well, my question is for Wolfpack mentors, how do you allow visitors to come check it out without, being fully committed first? And then, so we'll ask that first, and then I'll go to my second thoughts.
Go, Deana, go.
It's Christopher's nice way of saying I want Deana to answer that question. Um, I mean, I would love to invite you to come to some of our meetings and see what you think. I mean, if that we do have a year-long program, we have a 3-month program, but we would be happy to have you. And maybe you can come speak as the authority on marketing.
Yeah, I and so the commitment part kind of been in life has kicked in, and my biggest worry is being committed and not always being able to be there, not wanting to go. It's not always being able to be there. And as an example, I'm a night owl. Erica chose to do this as early as possible for somebody on the West Coast. So
I'm in the
Yeah,
bed
I
after one.
know.
Yeah.
so I try to get here every day, every night almost at Thursday night. I go to bed with the intention that I'm going to be at Erica's thing. But I'm also at an age where I'm said I am no longer setting alarm clocks. My natural body rhythm hits at certain times, and if it's off, uh-oh, I don't show up. Well, recently it's been not hitting the time frame I need to be able to get to this. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I also one of the I've heard several of the things you said, and sometimes you just need to be able to get in front of your peers without having to go to some costly event.
Yep.
Try to get a feeling for the things they're doing. The other, I'll stop there because I said it in there. I've already put my information into Wolfpack mentors. One of my dogs looks like it looks like a Sarloose hound, so that kind of gives you an
Awesome.
idea of the feeling I have toward the group. But yeah, the other thing that I wanted to say is that just from a business perspective, I've been in a group that's always been, it's never gotten over 12, and it's different than Erica's group here. I'll first say that. The group is the same people, but they don't have the input power, and the leader's not in they just changed the format after 5 years, and now we're starting to get somewhere. But sometimes you need feedback from other people outside of the group when you've been in a group for 5 years, and so I'm exploring mentally to get to these other things. Chris, I just want to say, as a former WordPress, well, not former, as a continual WordPress builder, also. I have been pushing, and Tom will, attest to this, and so can Erica. I've been pushing all-in-one solutions for a while, and I've been literally marking from when high level surpassed the tool that I was really
Yeah.
comfortable with, which was Kartra. And I mean,
Yeah.
literally every 6 months, I was looking at the differences. I am
Yeah.
now a brand new high level user, and literally
Oh,
have
good for
been
you.
starting to build something in high
Cool.
level just because it like you said, it just doesn't, when everything is working together, and whatever breaks, they try to do what breaks before the public can see it, as opposed
Yeah.
to what happens in WordPress. So,
Yeah.
And
I like you was, well, before my experience with WordPress breaking, discovering Go High Level, I was adamantly opposed to all-in-one solutions because what if the platform goes down? Well, I mean, that's true of anything though, right?
yep,
What if
right,
my hosting site goes down? What if whatever? What if the integration breaks? Like, and that's what ultimately caused me to like, no, I need to go with a solution where it is all under one roof,
mhm,
where every room talks to each other and they all know what each other is doing and it
yep,
makes sense. Yeah.
yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just
It's a
so
great
you
shift.
know, Joe, if you have a Go Hive account and you would join, I'm just saying hypothetically, if you joined Wolfpack Mentors, we can move your account to our platform and you have a free account when you're in the mastermind.
Wow.
Just so you know.
Well, I'm an agency also, so I intend to have lots
Ah,
of people through mine. I've been
Got
running a
it.
digital marketing agency for 10 years, so
Got it.
so
Yeah.
you wouldn't be
yes.
doing that then. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, and one of the biggest reasons I got to that point was my brother was a member of a brand that I call Confusionsoft.
Yes, many
And
people
so,
do. Yeah.
and I worked with that for 3 years and said there's got to be a better solution, and that's how I found,
Hmm.
Kartra, and
Yeah.
got to where a high level eventually. High level I did not want to go to. And I resisted for the longest time. That's why I watched what it did for 3 years before I made
Right.
the jump.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, like Christopher
Yeah.
said, I feel like they're just adding more and more functionality, and it's
Yeah.
And
like
refining it more and more every day too. Yeah.
like
Well,
just
it's
a month or two ago, I was like, I didn't, I was paying for QR codes, and now I don't have to do that anymore, you
Well,
know?
what I've noticed is they are definitely going deep into their competitive analysis and getting in. They have their hands in other tools to find out what they're missing. Because I'll just give you an example of something I discovered last night was the sections, the global and the new universal settings and things of that nature. And the point is that, I've known other platforms that had one section, one type of section you could save, but the fact that they have three types of variations of how to save it, that's huge. That's a huge time saver. And that's what I
Mhm.
like about it. Anyway, I'll shut up.
That's one of
Yeah,
those things
because
they've rolled out
Christopher and
recently that I
Zakiya are
just
having a
love.
side
Yeah.
conversation in the chat, and can't listen and read at the same time. Thomas is doing it too.
Coffee's kicking in.
Um,
Support group for
yeah,
new.
and Tom, in answer to your question about Mike Phil, same. I think he's doing something else. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's high level though.
Well, he went to high level first, and I don't know if he got away from it, but
Okay.
I'm like 90% sure he went to high level first and then got away. Maybe if he got away from it, I don't know. But
Because I mean, I've been going back probably
oh,
10
or
years
is
ago.
it
Mike was building his own platform.
or is it
So I
Groove
think
pages,
Yeah,
Groove
Uh,
Funnels?
yeah,
that's
Groove,
what
I
it
it's
Groove
was.
just
Yeah.
funnel.
I will not do business with him because I've been ripped off by him more than once. He's a
Yeah.
scammer. So
That seems to be that would be my experience with him as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Dang.
so
Yeah.
I just
Smart
was
guy, but
wondering
with
if he
no
was still
integrity. Yeah.
involved with Go High Level because as good as the platform is, and I've heard it's great, is I just will not give the guy any more of my money because he's taken enough and giving me nothing back.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah.
not.
Well, if you're saying by involved, if you mean he's part of the ownership, no, he's not. He
okay,
he
got it.
has no involvement with Go High Level at that level, if that's what you're referring to. He may have his
Yeah.
own agency, but he's not part of the ownership group.
Okay, got it. Okay.
No,
I
he's.
I had just heard that and I just that the guy's just a scammer. So I just
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
But
my experience with the guys in the ownership group is they are, well, they're like me and Deana, only on like a exponentially higher level. They're committed to everyone else's success and they have
okay.
high levels
Yeah.
of integrity and they're willing to figure out whatever the problem is that needs to be solved. And they're really accessible too. That's the other thing I really like about them
Okay.
is really, really accessible.
Well, as long as it's not Phil Same, then I'm, because I've
Yeah, I'm
heard
right
great
there
things.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Just my experience.
I
Yeah.
want to remind all of you, I'm a big fan of everybody having their own groups, group coaching, mastermind, master classes, whatever. I want you guys to continue hosting events. And if you can get your own agency platform, that's great because, yeah, I'm still duct taping. I begged, was it Brilliant Directories to come back, and I told them the price I wanted to pay. They came back and they gave me the price I wanted to pay. Hadn't used it. Been about 2 years now, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes it be like that.
You got to
But
use it. Yeah. That's
I
it.
hope you all are continuing with your own communities and growing your own platforms. And I think it's great that you guys still come out and hang out with me on Fridays. So yeah, feel free to join other groups, build your own platforms because I just want to hear about your success. So when you come talk to me in the DMs and it helps me build up stuff, Zakia told me one time about Notebook LM. I love it. Now, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I've been messenger her about at least once a week, telling her all the stuff I've done with Notebook LM. So yeah,
Can you create videos?
now it can. It does slideshows, so kinda. I'm not sure if you saw the podcast, the 22-minute podcast that I made from the introductory interview I did with you guys.
No.
It reminded me, it was great advertising for Wolfpack, but I realized
Thank you.
I said nothing, and I didn't mention Talk Virtual. I didn't mention my name. I didn't mention the Virtual Summer Tears peer group.
You didn't do all the things you're supposed to do. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, like I
So,
said, I know what to do. I don't do it. And maybe it would help if I have the stuff written down and then go through it. With
well, you should send that to me and
I did.
I will, oh, you did?
Yep.
Because I
Of
can
course I
post
sent
it
it to
and
you in
thank you.
LinkedIn.
Okay. I'll look at LinkedIn.
Same with you, Christopher.
Oh, okay, good. I'll go take a look for
Because
that.
I'll post it and thank you and
Yeah.
mention you and talk virtual and all that.
You'll have a folder soon, but I tag you in all the stuff I put out, or at least send it to you in LinkedIn.
Cool.
Cool.
Joe, Zakia,
Very
and
cool.
Thomas also got the same thing, or at least most of it. You guys can tell me if I bombard you with stuff in LinkedIn because sometimes I
No,
do.
it's okay.
It's all good.
All good.
Communication is better than not. Yeah.
I
Uh,
was gonna
I just
say one last, go ahead, Christopher.
I just want to thank you, Erica, for giving us the opportunity to come and chat with you and everybody else. I mean, this is
Mhm.
it. First off, it's just a lot of fun to talk about what we do and the things that get us excited. But it's also just really great to meet some new people and have another discussion around, our common thing. Like we're trying to build businesses. So I'm really appreciative, really grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Ray, thank you for
Me
coming
as
here.
well.
I love it when people tell me they're going to do something and then follow through with it.
Oh yeah, do what you say you're gonna do when you say you're gonna do it, whether you feel like it or not. That's the third part that's really a killer sometimes. Yeah.
I was just gonna leave everybody with one last thought because I always do. Um,
I always do.
it's kind of off topic, but I have a nonprofit for suicide prevention, which I mentioned. It's called the Realize Foundation, and we publish books and have a podcast called Scars to Stars. And we're going to be having a virtual event. Erica, this is why I mentioned this. We're going to be having a virtual event in September for Suicide Prevention Month. And I just wanted to put that out there because we're working on a new campaign that's really about just human connection and people reaching out to people. And when you cross your mind, send somebody a text or say you care or ask how they're doing. And it's very simple, but it can definitely save lives. So I just wanted to mention that.
All right.
It's a good.
I guess I didn't well, Joe put in Trilio. What about Trilio, Joe?
You said you have a hard time organizing, so Trello, Asana, and tools like that are, to me, they're electronic notebooks because I used to have a million notebooks, stickies on my monitor, and they
Me
would
too.
go trail down. This one was this column, this one was this column of stickies. And when I discovered Trello 15 years ago, I got away from that concept for at least 90% away from it, and it's still organized in the same exact fashion as I used to organize my sticky notes.
Yeah,
I
those kind
like
of tools are
Trello,
really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
but also Telegram.
Deana
So
loves Telegram.
I
Mhm.
Well, so do
have
I actually. Yeah.
Telegram is my organizer. I take notes. You can have a group and create topics. So like we have a Wolfpack Telegram group with like, I don't know, 50 topics in there. So everything Christopher and I need to keep track of, there's a different topic for
Yeah.
marketing or the bank account or the this. And that way we can keep all of our notes in one place and find it. But it's been really cool. And I'm actually running a little free 7-day training on the Shower Genius starting today um, in Telegram in a channel that lets people answer questions and lets me put voice clips. And it's really cool. And it's free.
What's it called again?
Telegram.
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 Yeah, like Dina and I have a group for us for Wolfpack, but Dina and I both also have a group that's literally just for ourselves as a note-taking place. So I've got one where I've got things where I'm talking about the author training, the Wolfpack stuff, mindset stuff, like whatever the topic is I need to take notes on or keep track of stuff in. There's a separate subtopic for all of those. It's very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it allows you to put video and photos and text. And it's, yeah, if you're using too much, if you're doing really big files, which we do video, and there are a lot for the podcast editing stuff we do. But if you're using really big files, you can pay $20 a month and still have unlimited. So you can use it for free, or it's very cheap to pay for the bandwidth you want if you're doing videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Telegram is my favorite thing in the world. I even taught a class in the mastermind about how to
Yeah.
use it for note taking.
Would
Yeah.
you put your link in the chat for us for your event that you're having on
Oh,
Telegram?
yeah. Yeah, I will. Hold on 1 second.
Frank Kearns was marketer promoting high level that was
Sorry, I didn't double check that. I was
no.
thinking when Tom asked
Oh, yeah.
about Mike Phil Same, it was Frank Kern. I was actually was who I was thinking of.
Oh,
That Frank
totally
Kern,
different.
yeah, completely different. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I agree with you with Phil Same.
That's
Mhm.
hilarious.
and Frank is doing some really interesting things with automation using Go High Level and social media.
Mhm. Frank,
So
I know used to do some stuff with at least I think he used to do some stuff with Kartra. And so when I heard, at least it may not have been Kartra, but when I heard that he was tied to high level, that's what really started really catching my attention
Mhm.
because I take a look at who's using it and what do they say also. So anyway, I'll shut up.
Exactly.
I digress.
Yeah. Frank Kern is a
Digressing is
guru.
fun sometimes, though, Joe.
What are you saying, Thomas?
I said Frank Kern is a guru, so yeah, he's a good guy.
The opposite of Phil
He's a
saying.
smart guy
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
really
link I
good.
just put is my Shower Genius channel on, it's a public channel, so people can subscribe to it. But that's where we're having our 7 day, I don't know, it's just a free community kind of thing that we're doing to talk about some of the things we talked about here in the beginning.
Okay. Nice. Thank
Really
you
good.
for
Okay.
sharing. Zakia, are you going to stay muted the whole time? We hadn't heard you in a good long while. I meant it when I said we miss you. Or should I just say, I miss
Yes.
you? Even though I've talked to you like every day or at least once a week on LinkedIn DMs. And there's so much more stuff I need to tell you about Notebook LM. Deana,
It's a
you already
tool I want
caught
to
it. I
go
told you about the
explore. Yeah.
slideshow.
Yeah, I have a
Oh,
note in
cool.
front of me about Notebook. I thought you said Notebook LL, but it's LM.
LM. Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Zakia. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys because Zakia's here. So in Notebook LM, there's a new feature that says video, but it makes slides for you, and that's a totally new voice. And if you didn't know, you can press a button and have a language of your choosing. I forgot how many languages there is. I don't know all of them because my high school only offered French, German, and Spanish, but I'm sure there's one called Portuguese. Yeah. But Zakia says, super excited about that. She'll give it a try. Hooray! Because I took I'm not sure if you guys know David Shands. He did a challenge on a podcast and he had a morning session and an evening session. So I guess the morning sessions you get to talk about how you feel about starting a podcast, and the evening session is podcast is not just a podcast. This is a vehicle for you to make money. So you have to have, as Joe says, an end goal. So he brings on people to tell you how to move that vehicle forward. So I took I think it was like an introductory and then it was an outro one. So it was about maybe 13, 14 videos. Gave it all to Notebook LM. Hit the conversation and it was like 15 minutes. I'm like, that was like a week of conversations over an hour and you give me 15 minutes, but still it was the gist. You get the gist of it. But I can go through there and have the quiz questions, have what is it called? A briefing doc, a mind map, whatever. So even if David takes this stuff down from YouTube, I will still have it as a study guide. And I thought that was amazing. And now I can go back and hit that make me slides button. So I thought it was cool.
So yeah, it's a tool that I want to play with because there's a couple other uses that I've heard about that I want to play with. So yeah, it's going to be
Uh,
fun.
Yeah. But if you hear the podcast that came from your introductory talk, I was like, wow. Oh, and one more thing about Notebook LM. So if you make your notebook public, it's a possibility that it could be in the feature section. But right now they're partnering with magazines. But you can always reach out to them. And it's like, hey, partner with me.
All right.
So I thought it was nice.
Interesting. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Anybody
Sorry to
else
hear
got
about
uh anything? We got about 10 more minutes.
Zakia. I hope your throat is feeling better soon. The NG tube doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun.
Uh-uh.
yeah.
I've been wondering what could I send her, since I can't get her to come to South Carolina. Like some what is that stuff called? It's supposed to be sheets that help you heal because they have a high frequency. It's not cotton. It's wool and something else, but I'm thinking it's too hot for wool, and she probably wouldn't use it.
Hmm.
All a
It's supposed to
filter.
have a frequency of like 5,000, and it's supposed to help you heal. And hospitals used to be filled with them until like the 1950s, and they took them away because people, so they say. I'm repeating what I've heard.
You are
Nobody
a
knows what I'm
wealth
talking
of
about?
facts.
Huh?
You are a wealth of facts.
Well, I don't know if it's
It's
true. I
true.
just want her to feel better, and I want her to do it like right now.
Yeah.
Yesterday would be even better. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's why I keep telling Deana, I grant her good health and I want her to feel better like right now. So, yeah.
Well,
Do as I
totally
say.
around that, I went to see an ENT doctor the other day. They have me seeing all these different people, and he gave me a new nose spray that has definitely changed something. Like, I ate stuff with gluten yesterday and I didn't cough.
Mm.
Wow,
And
that's a
it's
first.
all because of this nose spray he gave me. So I need to do some research on like what it is and what it's doing to me, but it's definitely helping in some way.
Wow,
Okay, well
that's
that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
I tried to my cousin's gonna have surgery on her sinuses, when they take the hot rod and put it in your nose to
Ugh.
burn your sinuses. I tried to
Uh-huh.
convince her that clove is a miracle for sinuses. I can't stand dogwood trees. I think they're very pretty, but I can't stand them because it makes my whole face hurt. But clove, I can say, hey, you're pretty, and I can move on. I don't have anything else to say to those trees because the clove helps me with the sinus and it doesn't hurt my face. So,
Well, there's definitely, I mean, the past year has been a journey of health for me. And I would say that there are natural remedies for almost everything. It doesn't mean you don't need surgery, but you could at least do some research before you have surgery because that sounds awful.
yeah. Linen. Linen is the sheet I was trying to think of
Huh.
that I need to send Zakia and that she probably would use, not wool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas knows about natural remedies.
I do. I'm really into that myself because whatever I can get rid of pills, and doctors are always pushing pills on you, but I
Yep.
prefer natural remedies, and there's usually something that's better for you anyway. It'll accomplish the same purpose without the all the millions of side effects you get
Yep.
from the pills the doctors push. So
Did you hear
Well,
about the fight between the FDA and the people? I think the FDA called them naturalists or herbists,
naturopaths,
naturopaths. Yes. Have you heard
it's
of that? It's like
it's constant.
yeah, like
it's
maybe the
constant. Yeah.
1800s. No? Okay. So again, this is what I've heard, and I don't know if it's true. So the guy who started the FDA was supposedly into all, and they told him he can't have a monopoly anymore. He's like, well, screw that. How about I'm going to take care of your health and then give you all? So he told everybody the people who were using herbs were quacks, and you should stop using them because I have this thing and it's federally approved because he paid them, and
Well, that's
the
been
he
going on
wrote
for
in the
decades.
That all goes back to the Rockefellers took
uh-huh.
over
Yeah.
So you guys
and
have heard
pushed
this story.
everybody into
It might be true
Oh
allopathic
because
yeah.
I've
medicine.
all
Yeah.
heard of it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, the
Dang
Rock
it.
we owe modern medicine and its pill pushing to the
Yeah.
Rockefellers. So
I
Yeah.
will
bottom line, yeah,
I will say that part of my decision to close my business is because I had so many pharmaceutical clients
Wow.
and I didn't want anything to do with their money.
yeah,
So
got it.
that's
Yeah.
part of it. But um there's a doctor in Alabama that my whole family's been working with for since 2020. It's his business. It's the website is healingthecause.com. And he has this machine. It's called it's it's like Quest machine that scans your DNA and tells you exactly what's going on in your body. And it saved my dad's life in 2020. He was needing open heart surgery. He was in ICU and he never had surgery. And 6 months later, he was in the best health of his life.
Wow.
And it's all supplements, tinctures, and it's around like what they can see. Like, and I've been working with him for the past year. I've been on multiple regimens of natural stuff because I got exposed to mold and it has wreaked havoc in my body. I've had pneumonia 8 times. So it's I believe in all that. I have been seeing a primary doctor too, and I have been on prednisone multiple times because I couldn't breathe. But I do believe that food and natural things are very capable of keeping us healthy.
Hmm.
I know
100%.
Tom agrees with me, but it's sometimes you need to go to the ER, and I've done that many times because my oxygen was low. But um, I think you have to find what's right for you. That's my biggest message about health.
Yeah, and I think that that we're doing a big disservice by just pushing the pills all the time. And I think that's American culture.
Hmm.
Let's just pop a pill and we'll fix it, while you're creating 5 side effects for every situation
Yeah.
you actually
Yeah.
the pills actually deal with. Then you got a whole host of side effects, and it's crazy. So
Yeah,
so
and the
yeah,
bigger problem is what they're putting in our water and our food,
yeah,
Agreed.
oh yeah, actually, yeah,
And
Well, and spraying from the air. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
yeah, chemtrails and all that stuff. Yeah. So so I agree, eating eating right, eating the organic food, staying away from the ultra processed stuff. And we see it out there. You see the prevalence of kids with learning disabilities, and a lot, and how that's just autism, and everything has escalated, and it's all due to the food and the vaccines, and the pesticides they're spraying, the glyphosate and stuff like that. I mean, you can tie it directly back to that. You can, as that use goes up, you can see the health effects going up, and we're poisoning our kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So,
Zakia says
I'll
most
get
of
off
the
my soapbox.
Zakia says most of the pills started with herbs and then added lots of other nonsense. I agree with that. I don't think our vaccines need mercury or lead. I'm like, there's no point in it. But all I can do is complain about it.
Nanocar. Well, yeah, don't
Yeah.
take vaccines. Yeah. So,
Robert Kennedy Jr. has done through Children's Health Defense just a ton of research into this, and he's documented exactly when autism really started to rise, and it's a direct correlation. So, I mean, people can
yeah.
lie about that all they want, but facts are
Yeah, I
facts.
hear people
Whether you,
who on the computer, by the way, on their phone making a video telling me, "Oh, I just got diagnosed later in life and oh, more people are being diagnosed." I'm like, "You're on a computer talking to me." I don't say that's autism.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, I have a grandson that's autistic and he lives with a special needs family instead of his mother because she was a single mom and couldn't provide for him. So that's
well,
it sucks.
It really does. We're we're letting that happen, and I applaud RFK. He's got an uphill battle, and he's getting fought every step of the way, but he's making
sure is.
progress. So,
He is, yeah.
so yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
agree with him on some political things, but boy, he's spot on with the health stuff. So,
Yeah.
we're not gonna agree with everybody on everything, but
yeah.
on that, yes. Um,
Has a question.
Sorry, my question takes you out of this conversation and back to
Uh-oh.
another question. So that's why I
Go.
put it as raise my hand.
Ah!
Notebook LM is my question. I actually have a slideshow that it was basically a script I put on slides, and I was going to use that way. My question is, I need to empower that slideshow with the graphics and things like that. Is that something Notebook LM would do, or does anybody know an AI platform that might do that?
Ooh, Thomas told us one about it's called Napkin AI.
Oh, that's right. I
And
remember
I'm
hearing
a
of that
fan.
one.
Ever since Thomas told me about it, what, 2 weeks ago? I like Gamma too, but Gamma changes my words, and sometimes I'm funny about that, even though I've asked
Yeah.
Chat to write them for me. But when I give it to Napkin, it just makes me pictures. But Gamma is like it's fancy.
Got it. I'm going to look at that one. Thank you very much.
Zakia gave you Gamma. Thomas gave you Napkin.
Got them both up here now. I think I remember hearing that with you guys before. Thank you guys.
That whole landscape is just changing so fast as well. Like
Have to
Deana
keep
was
up.
asking about some video stuff the other day, and so I gave her a couple of platforms that I'd heard about. And I think she's still on the hunt for one that's going to do the videos the way that she wants. But I mean, that whole area is literally changing day by day and improving exponentially, like week by week. It's just insane trying to keep up.
It's really challenging to keep up, man. You can literally spend all day online checking out things
Right.
and still miss stuff,
And
So it's
never
kind
get
of
anything
like,
else
some,
accomplished.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you get accomplished is trying to stay up with things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
it's
agree.
not that I didn't appreciate Score app for making the quiz for me. I mean, it did really well and it was very nicely laid out. It's just that I wanted to use my own art and he said use a template. I used a template and it looks like a template. This is my
Yeah.
the graphic designer and me crying about
Oh,
it, but it worked. But then they told me I had like 13 left, uses left. So I was like, what's the point? I need over 100. So I went to Woo Rise, something I've already paid for. Set it up. They let me use my art. I'm all like, yay. It looks great on my phone and on my desktop. It's giving me exactly what I want. And then I was like, how do I set up the emails? And it's like, site, you don't have access to emails because you have a lifetime plan. And I'm like, so here's a screenshot that's saying that I have emails. And I'm like, sorry, our email service provider charges us a lot of money and we can't afford it. And I want to say, I'm sorry you don't want to honor our contract, but you should. But I'm just gonna say I'm happy to have access to the program and find another way, like a redirect or something. But still,
Who is it?
we'll rise.
Oh, don't know them.
Will,
Got him back in like
WILL rise.
Woo. Yep,
Oh,
WOORISE.
Woo rise.
Yeah. So I was very happy that they gave me it, let me do exactly what I wanted to do, what I felt like doing, and it was great until it says no emails.
Mm.
That's weird. Um,
Just hurt my feelings.
Well, we've done things in high level where you put a link to something, but then it can be linked back to the automated emails in high level, right, Christopher?
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking specifically social media stuff or something different?
I don't know, just whatever
Yeah.
Erica's talking about, if that could be a fix.
Well, one of the challenge, I think this is the challenge that WooRise came up against, is that email service providers do cost money. That's just a fact of life, at least a fact of technological life as we know it. And using Go High Level or pretty much any other platform, you are paying for those emails that get sent. Like, it's not a lot, but it does add up. Same thing if you're doing texts or voicemail stuff. There are hard costs that people like Mailgun or Twilio will charge per email or per 1,000 emails or per 1,000 texts, whatever the model is. So those are ongoing costs. That's just part of business life. Um, I don't know how you get away from those. Like, so I don't agree with WooRise not honoring their deal because they're the ones that made the deal. But I do understand from a practicality standpoint why they made that difficult decision.
In their
Sure.
defense, they made the deal in like 2017. But
Yeah.
Joe and Zakia had questions.
Oh, we answered mine.
Oh. So Zakia wanted to know any rumblings with Air Meat lately. Anybody's heard from Air Meat? Anybody still using Air Meat?
I just
Thomas, why are you
deleted it off
laughing?
my cell phone.
So Lalette, I spoke with him on LinkedIn, and he said something about people aren't doing virtual events like they once were, like back in 2020. And a lot of people came and said virtual events aren't dead. I put my 2 cents in and I said, it's not the events online is, did you say, are you doing the things you said you would do when you promoted to me? When you told me that those speakers are coming, are they actually speaking on a topic you told me in that promotion that they're going to talk about? Are they going to freely talk to me about the subject that they said they would talk about? Because I hate it when they don't do that. And I told him the reason why I haven't used worried about the agency contract I signed last year. It was only for a year, but haven't had an event coming in December. I think they are going to snatch the deal. I am not sure. I told him I haven't used it at all, and he's worried about people not using this platform. Well, one is expensive, but I told him I haven't used it because I didn't really fully understand that deal. I didn't know that you could have like 10 free people. So that means that I could have like 10 free speakers. I wasn't sure. I still don't know. And I told him that I was kind of embarrassed about asking for a fourth and fifth time. So I just don't use the platform anymore. And I'm sure other people haven't used it either. And then a guy came after me and put his 2 cents in saying that people who don't keep their words with contracts are untrustworthy. So that's why they have lost usership on their platform. He didn't comment on that part, but yeah.
Of course
So
not.
Of
our
course not.
original deal was up
Exactly.
to 1,000 attendees free. Yes, but you know he wants $4 per person after the 10. Oh,
There was another platform that was similar to that. I can't remember the name of it now. It
hopping.
was no, it was about a year or more ago, maybe, I forget. And the initial deal sounded amazing. And then, oh yes, but now there's all these surcharges, X number of dollars per user. You had to use his payment processor, and there was an upcharge for that, and all this nickel and diming me to death stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. Zakia says sessions. Yeah, I
we
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 talked about
all miss
sessions.
sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
What is sessions? I'm sorry. I'm not familiar.
It's a
Sessions
program that
was
hurts our feelings by talking about it, but
it was a meeting online meeting platform, a la Zoom, that had some really great benefits to it, really great features that were led me to believe, at least, and I think probably everyone else here on the call that's familiar with it as well, that it could be a replacement for Zoom. So I could buy a lifetime deal for the sessions and be good and not have to worry about paying for Zoom every month or whatever. And it lasted less than a year before I went the way of the dodo bird.
Yeah, I feel like the people who started stuff during the pandemic and said lifetime deal have mostly gone out of business because
It's not sustainable.
no, it's not.
I don't know about that. I still love Book Like a Boss, and anybody that's asked me about it, it's the best $37 I've ever spent.
What is it?
Oh, Zakia
It,
says some have done really well, like Dub.
yeah. And the people
And
that
Hey Summit,
succeed
yep.
in the LTD business are the ones that came in for a limited amount of time, got a cash infusion, brought some people on board, honored their deal, but then had a plan to go to monthly or annual subscriptions. So you get that cash infusion up front, and then you got to have a business. But I think a lot of the LTD people come in, the lifetime deal people come in, and they're just looking at that cash infusion and then go out and buy Mercedes for everybody and then go out of business,
Yep.
because they
Because
don't have a plan.
the model's not sustainable. You can't
Right,
survive. You can build a
right.
business on $37 one time only. Can't be
Yeah,
done.
They
you
have,
can't.
but like a boss have. Totally have.
Well,
And
no.
anytime I get to promote them, I will because I love them that much.
Well, that's because they had a plan and they have monthly revenue. It's not the $37
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
sustaining them to this point. They are generating revenue on a monthly basis, and that's what I'm saying. Is we got in at the beginning and created a cash infusion to get them going. That was the initial investment, but then they went out and got recurring paying customers, and that's what sustains the business. So,
The only
so
way to pay for the ongoing costs and the
right,
development,
right,
making
right.
the tools better, and all those things that we all want, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. The $37 was great, but you're not going to do a one-time 37 payment and without a plan, and that there's no way that works. So you got to have a plan to bring in recurring business. It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah, and there's some
And
of those deals that I bought simply because this sounds like a really good idea if they're able to fully implement it. And so I invest in it knowing that I'm not even going to bother looking at it for probably a year or two to see where they go with development.
right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Sessions being the topmost mind of examples of that, right?
And I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, on some of the LTDs, if it's a good software program, I'll come back around and I'll, upgrade myself to a recurring payment tier, just to keep them going, and then you get some benefit of that early LTD, but now you're providing, if it's good enough and it can be a good part of my workflow, then I don't mind doing that. Um,
Mhm.
so it gives you a chance to try it out. And I'm like you, I'll have shelfware that I
Software
look
is
at a year
great
down
for
the road. Say,
Yeah.
yeah,
they've
yeah,
stuck around, so they must have a good business plan.
Zakia says they
yeah.
have incredible ambassadors. Yeah. I love Hey
Yeah,
Summit and I'll continue to tell people about Hey Summit.
right. And they're another one,
Yeah.
they honored their deal, but they had a plan to bring in recurring revenue. And, they did some special add-ons for AppSumo people that I'm paying for too, and it gives them that some recurring revenue, but the service is that good that it's worth it, to me.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so
At the end of the day, that's the whole point, though. Is it of service to me or not?
right,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Cool.
Yeah. Well, have any of you used the lobby section in Hey Summit? Dina or Christopher, do you have Hey Summit? Oh,
I've heard of it. I'm not familiar. Beyond the name, I'm not familiar with the platform.
okay. But I haven't used it yet. I set it up. It looks like Slack. I thought that was cool because Ben, the guy who made Hey Summit, messaged me and like, why aren't you using the platform? And I'm like, I don't know about hosting an event. He's like, I'm gonna host an event about making events. So that's how I met most everybody here. Um, but yeah, he's added features after features many a times, and
yeah,
sometimes because I just asked him to, and he did it that day.
yeah. There's been, some of the LTD folks have really done quite well, and they sustained themselves because they had a plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's And I think that really comes down to, kind of getting back to the whole Wolfpack, you know, um, mastermind thing is, really what you're looking at is if I get it right, is you're coaching people to develop that plan that we can sustain our business. This is really what it boils down to. And that's what we all need. It's we got our short-term stuff, and we can probably do well short-term, but we got to have a long-term plan to sustain ourselves over
Mhm.
the long haul. And from what I've heard, that's basically what you're doing with people is you need to have both the short-term and the long-term plans because you got to plan for a sustainable business. Is
Of
that,
course, yeah.
yeah,
That's the strategy stuff that Dina was alluding to earlier. Like
yeah,
mindset and strategy are probably the two big pillars of what we're doing.
yeah.
Mindset comes
Hooray.
first, obviously. Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, Joe. You gotta say something. You can't just wave because you're doing it like this, and I can't really see her.
No, I was just thinking I'm getting ready to get off of here.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
I
It
gotta
is
Well,
get
way
nice
past
meeting you, Joe.
11:30.
Yeah,
Thanks for
we're
being
past
here.
time.
Yep.
it's nice meeting you all, Christopher, and
Likewise.
Deana. I will be in touch. I've already signed up on your in your system, so you'll find my name in there, and
Oh, cool.
we
Awesome.
hopefully can
Oh, I
continue.
wanted to say when I say do as I say, that was a South Park quote. But I do want you both to feel better, Zakia and Dean. I want you to feel better. And Joe, Thomas, Christopher, stay healthy. And I'll
Good
see y'all
discussion.
next Friday.
All
Thanks
right.
again for having us. This
Right.
was awesome.
Hooray.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Good
y'all.
discussion. Bye.
Very